Okay, so now we've got our guy modelled, we can get a little movie out of him. So what I'm going to do, build a little environment for him. So we'll go to polymodelling, add a box, hit R to scale it up and make it big. So make it a room for him. So we'll come out in this front view to see how big that is. A bit bigger maybe, and then move it up until, in fact, if we want to do it right, we can get those values, make them all 100, and then we can make that 50, and then we'll know that we've got it absolutely right. So then we can go, we want to turn the inside out, so we can go modelling, mesh display, and normals, which says which way the face is pointing. We can go reverse, and then all of a sudden the faces point inwards. And just for the sake of it, while I'm at it, if I go to face mode, I can get that top one and delete it. Whether that's just sky, I don't know, but go back to object mode. Right. While we're at it, I'll stick on a new texture. So if I go assign new material and go shader, AO standard surface, we've got way too many nodes there, so I'll go delete by type history. Standard surface 6, so this is the surface of the box. At the moment it's white. I'll make it a very sort of grey blue, quite pale, something like that. And the other thing that I want to do is make it rough, so I don't want it to be shiny at all, so I'm going to go 0.9 on the roughness of the specular, which is the reflectiveness. And so that's our environment. Now, as usual though, without any lights in there, if I go render, there's my render view, and go render it, I get black, because there's nothing in there. Right, so escape will stop the render. Let's do that. So if we put some lights in there, so we go to rendering, I'm just going to use some point lights. So I'll make one, bring it over here. This is going to be my key light. Put it over here somewhere to one side of him. Difficult to see where we are in perspective view. Something over here. I'm going to make its intensity about 500 to start with, and then go to the Arnold bit here. Radius, make it a radius of 1 unit. If it's got a radius of 0, you get very, very hard shadows. And then we want samples. So samples 1 is quite crude, so 3 samples. And just with that one light, if we just go back into rendering, render that again, we'll get that, which isn't looking too bad. Just wait a second while it comes, renders out. There's your shadow coming. I could up radius a little bit, make that shadow softer. Yeah. So escape to finish the render so you see what you're doing. So yeah, I'm just going to make the radius 2 and double that. Okay, so now I've got that. I've got one light. I'm going to go Control D. I'm going to duplicate that light, put it over here, and put it down here. Right. So key light. This is going to be the fill light. So fill light wants to be paler. Paler, not as bright is the right word. So 250 rather than 500. And I'm going to make it slightly blue again. I'm going to do that. Do that. Yeah, slightly blue. Cool. and then I'm going to go Control. Actually, I'll make sure I'm on it. Control D, which is duplicate. Okay, inside, and leave that behind him, and then up a bit, and then that's going to be like his backlight. But we're going to be looking at him from all three views. So, although we could just fly them around him. Oh yeah, let's do that then. So that's his backlight. So I'm going to take that down to half of that, which is 175. 175. I'm going to make it slightly yellow. There you go, very pale yellow. And so now, if we're in front of him ish, go back to the render him again. It's a bit slow. So there he is, and now we've got the three shadows. So we only really want the one shadow, but he's lit all around, which is not too bad. So now, what I'm going to do, to close that, I am going to light 2, I'm going to select not to cast shadows, light 3, I'm going to tell it not to cast shadows. Right, so I want this to be fairly quick, so I'm going to go just only 48 frames total. So, and then I'm going to go create NURBS primitive circle. Yep, I'm doing it in that view. And delete that one again. So create NURBS circle. It's because I was doing something else with it. I want it to be in the Y. Apply. Close. There we go. I'll put it around chest height, something like that. Maybe waist height. And then go R to scale. And make it quite big. I want it to be inside the walls, but a little bit away from him. So there's that. Right, okay. So, having done that, we can go in the rendering tab, create a camera. So we've now got a new camera called Camera 1. We could call that carousel camera, so we know what it is. And then we can click the NURBS circle to start off with, and then after that select the carousel camera, and then we can go to the rigging bit and go constrain motion paths, attach to motion path. I'm going to have a look at it, and on time slider follow. Actually, before we do that, if you can see, this is a bit lumpy. The NURBS circle, what we need to do is delump the NURBS circle. So we just want the NURBS circle, and where it says sections 8, I'll make section 60. You can see that smooths that out, and it stops the camera jumping as it goes along. So again, NURBS circle, then the carousel camera, then constrain motion path, attach to motion path, and apply and close. So now we've got this camera. So if I go show, oh, cameras are in, so we should be able to see it. If I move it around, oh, carousel camera selected. I can move, although we don't want to move it. There we go, we can see it now. And that's its movement around. And you can see it's pointing inwards, well, it starts at the back. So if we go to halfway around 48, what's half 48? 24. On frame 24. So that's at the front. I'll just check that. Yep, camera's at the front there. So 25. 24. 24, that'll do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that light, that light, and then shift select the camera. Here we go. I'm going to hit P. and that parents the lights to the camera. So hopefully, as the cam goes around now, the lights will follow it. So wherever we are, that 3-point lighting set will be right for our character. Right, so okay, that's the camera moving, the lights moving with the camera. We can just go and see what the camera sees. So we'll go back to 24 again. So we're in the top. So if we go here, panels, perspective, carousel camera shape. There we go. So that's what we're seeing. If I hit that button there, which is resolution gate, that's what's going to render. And we can kind of go, is he in the right place in this frame? So if I get NURB circle now, if I want it to be slightly higher, we can bring the camera down to 9, and then he's slightly higher in the frame, about 9.5. There you go. Right. Okay, so we pretty much, we could come in on one a little bit. So if we go to the camera, carousel camera, focal length 35, we could try 38. There we go. We're a little bit closer to him there. So we just zoomed in on him. And that's what we're going to get, which is fine. So the only other thing is if we have a look at this one and we play that, it's going to play really fast, isn't it? No. Okay. You can see that the camera slows in and slows out because keys are automatically slowed in and slowed out in Maya. So what I'm going to do is stop that. I'm going to go to the curve editor. So I'm going to go Windows, General Editors, no, Animation Editors, Graph Editor, there we go. And so that is our movement around, so slowing in and slowing out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get those two. I'm going to make this window bigger so I can see all the buttons, and that is make linear. Now that stops it slowing in and slowing out, so that gives you constant velocity. So now if I do that, you'll just get a carousel, which is lovely. So all we need to do now is set some stuff up in the render settings. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go JPEG's fine for this. Generally I'd use PNGs, but for this I'm going to use JPEGs. This is name.extension, that's a single frame. Oh no, that's not name. So name.extension, single frame is its standard name. Hash.extension, which is what it's called, plus a number plus an extension. It gives you the frames. Start frame 1, end frame 48. So we've got to set that at 48. We can set that resolution. I've just got it at that basic resolution. So this says it's going to be called turnaround. It's probably going to be called body 06 turnaround dot that. So it'll use the file name. So I can call it. You can call it character turn, or you're going to go turn around, and then you won't get the rest of that name in it. JPEG, quality 100, use name hash extension, make it 48 frames, renderable camera, not the perspective, the carousel camera, there we go. Cool, so that's our camera settings. So we can go now onto the rendering menu, go render sequence, open the render sequence settings, and just note that that doesn't always go, yeah, I want the carousel camera. You can tell it where to render to. If not, it's going to render into the project settings. So just for now, because I've not set my project this morning, it's going, oh look, my project's default. So I'm going to go desktop. Oh look, character one. No, let's kind of make a fresh one. Go turn around renders. So we're going to render to that, and we're going to go the largest window of all time. Now we go select. So now we know that it's going to render to that, and then all I have to do now is go render sequence. So what I'll do is I'll render the sequence. It'll take a little while, and so I'm going to finish the video here, and then I'm going to tack this video at the end, or the turnaround at the end of the tutorial. So there you go, render sequence, and then it will get on with it. and I will tack it on at the end of the tutorial. So good luck with that. Off you go, and I'll see you in the next project.